Good morning, it's Saturday the 15th. I'm gonna try something new today. I have actually had the stuff from Bakehouse. And by stuff, I mean baked goods, but I've never actually been to Bakehouse, so I'm gonna try to go there. I have heard that Bakehouse always has like a super long line outside, but I'm hoping because it's kind of early, it's like 9:30 and people don't, it's not like going out for like a brunch breakfast thing is kind of not really a big thing here, so I'm hoping that it's not going to be too crazy and I can sit down there and get some breakfast and check the place out. So let's go see. Okay, JK, you saw the line. I'm totally not standing on that line for breakfast, so I'm just gonna go to Starbucks and then we'll go from there. I spend a lot of time in malls in Hong Kong. I think it's because it's easy and also it's like so hot outside. So I've had some breakfast, but I wasn't super excited about the coffee, so I'm actually just gonna go get a giant coffee now at Starbucks. Crazy today. Gotta get myself together. This is my favorite Starbucks in Hong Kong, and it's like in the atrium of Pacific Place. But it's only open from like 9:30 to 5. Anyway, it's open now. That's what's important. What's up, guys? I came back home from Starbucks. I was gonna stay there for a little while and do some work, but it started to get really crowded and busy. I think people are feeling a lot more confident about going out now on the weekends because the Hong Kong daily community infection rate for COVID was at like over 100 for a week, and now it's sitting at around 40 or 50 per day. So people are starting to move around more on the weekends, which is great for the economy. But not so great for getting work done at Starbucks. So I came home to do a little bit of work. And I'm like a little tired. And I think it might be because I'm over caffeinated. I had a little bit of coffee with breakfast, and then I just had a grande, just regular drip coffee at Starbucks, which is actually like, that's my favorite Starbucks order, just drip coffee. I don't know why, like, I don't know, I have no idea. But then I grabbed some, I don't know if you guys know that this exists. I've never seen this in America, but I started buying this here because it is at like the local convenience store near me, like closest to my apartment. This is what they sell instead of Diet Coke. They sell this thing called Coca Cola Plus. Now, I don't know if you know what this is, but this is like it's like a Coke Zero, but I Googled it and it's different than Coke Zero because they also sell Coke Zero here. In Hong Kong, I've seen Diet Coke, which is, I think it's imported either from the US or from the UK. And then there is Coke Zero, which has a red label and like a black band at the top that says like Coke Zero or like zero sugar. Then there is a version that is called like Light Coke, which also has zero sugar, but it has like a lighter taste. So it's like a slightly, just like less strong taste. That's the only way I can describe it. And then there's this, Coca Cola Plus. Zero sugar, but I Googled it and I think it has added fiber. And let's see, yep, dietary fiber, 1.6 grams per 100 milliliters. And this is 500 milliliters. So there's like almost 10 grams of fiber in this bottle of Coke Zero. They also have this for Sprite, so there's just Sprite Zero, so it's like a 0-calorie Sprite with fiber. I don't know why I'm drinking this. I'm drinking this because it's available at the store and I love Diet Coke. It doesn't taste like American Diet Coke. I know Diet Coke is like so bad for you, right? But I don't know. I used to have a really bad Diet Coke problem in college, and now I'm just down to maybe like one every other day or when I'm like really stressed. Anyway, I think I'm a little bit over caffeinated, so and maybe like also a little dehydrated because I'm over caffeinated, so I'm like a little bit tired. I thought that in the talking portion of my video today, I don't actually know how to like make these videos very interesting, so I'm trying to put like the vloggy stuff in the beginning. As you can tell, I like don't do that much stuff on like in my free time, but then I'll like add a talky version at the end of like I'll add like a talking section at the end of my videos. Anybody who knows me and anyone who's like ever worked with me knows that I'm obsessed with ideas. I used to joke around that like my brand was being a ridiculous person, and I love things that seem slightly absurd or really absurd. This is why I love man-made things. Everyone here, all my friends love going like hiking and going out in nature, and I love nature and I love hiking. I especially love hiking actually in southern Utah. If you haven't been, when this whole thing clears up, please go hiking in southern Utah. It is so unbelievably beautiful. It's like one of my favorite places to hike in the US. What I really enjoy doing more often than hiking, like just in Hong Kong in general, or just like whenever I travel, is I love going to visit man-made things. And I know it sounds like when I say it, like I like to go see man-made things, it does sound like a little bit banal and kind of weird. But what I really mean is that I love seeing people-made plans come to life. This is why I love theme parks and I love architecture. I love like really experiential consumer-based things like fantastical restaurants and amazing shops and places you go that are designed to have function, like sell something or entertain people, but are like the physically built manifestation of a wild and crazy idea, or things that would have been wild and crazy ideas until you make them real. And then you're like, wow, this is not wild and crazy anymore. It's real and it's amazing. So I love that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not really an entrepreneur and I'm not really somebody who builds things. My entire career, I've made content, which is why I'm trying this like YouTube thing in a little bit more of a serious way, because that's what I make. I like to take ideas and I like to talk about them. I like to find a story and build it out. But my greatest skill in life pretty much is like I can put sentences together and I can like type pretty fast. Anyway, over the course of the past few years, every time I have like kind of a weird idea for something that could be like a very random business, like I always think that if I won a huge lottery jackpot, I would do a couple of things. Like I would go back to college or back to school for a long time and just do like a bunch of master's degrees on cool things that I really, really want to learn a lot about from experts. But I would also start a lot of really fun businesses. And I thought in this video I would talk through, I think I have like a list of like 15 or 16 totally random ideas for things that can be made, but probably aren't good business ideas, but could be business ideas. So here is my free ideas video. So my first batch of ideas that I wanted to just randomly say, this past year I have been on a personal weight loss journey and I have lost about 60 pounds. Because I've been going to the gym like so much and it's been such a foreign environment for me and it's been such like a foreign practice for me, I've thought of just a bunch of random ideas that I will say to my trainer at 6 a.m. because I train at 6 a.m. most days. And he tells me I'm like super weird, but I think these are legitimate ideas that are not at all fully fleshed out, but could be something. Idea number one, I will often book a connecting flight when I'm flying from Hong Kong to New York. Obviously I haven't flown since last December because I've just been in Hong Kong for the past 8 months, but whenever I fly, I'll try to book a layover in Heathrow. When I do the layover in Heathrow, I like to book at least a 4 or 5 hour layover because transit in between terminals can take quite a long time. If you've ever transited in between flights at Heathrow, you'll know that for international flights, you have to like go through the whole security process all over again, which means like taking all your stuff out of your bag and doing all that stuff. So it takes quite a long time, and going in between terminals can like take quite a long time. But then sometimes it doesn't take that long, and then you're in the other terminal waiting for your flight for like 5 hours. Wouldn't it be so great to have gyms at airports? Last December, while I was waiting for my connecting flight from Heathrow to New York, I remember sitting in the BA lounge and thinking about God, like I wish there was a gym at this airport, because even after you like take like a little nap or like grab a shower in the lounge and like eat some lunch, you still have a lot of time to kill. It would be so great to go to a gym, like get on a treadmill, maybe lift some weights, get the blood flowing, like get your circulation going before you have to get on your second or third flight sometimes. And then I was thinking, well, obviously this was like pre-COVID, so this was last December, and obviously the face of travel has changed so much. Hopefully it will come back, but I feel like in the future, not even far future, but near future, I feel like airports could just become fully encapsulated living spaces where you live either upstairs from the airport and have all the things you need in the airport, like convenience stores and gyms and, you know, a hair salon. Why are there not more hair salons and like nail salons in airports? I don't understand. There's so much time when you're there, but wouldn't it be, it's not completely unfeasible that in the next 5 or 10 years, you could live at an airport, commute to work by taking these like commuter flights, and just have your entire life at an airport. I would love, for example, to even go to a movie at an airport in between flights. I don't know, maybe I'm the only person who's booking such long layovers. Speaking of gyms, I had a few ideas, or I have had a few ideas at like 6 a.m. when I'm like pushing the prowler during my training session about how the gym, like the more traditional gym experience, could change. One is, and these are the ideas where my trainer's like, you're super kooky at 6 a.m., like calm down. But one is, why aren't there gyms that have more aesthetic equipment? And by the word aesthetic, I really do mean aesthetic in that sort of slang way that I feel like I hear all the time in YouTube and on Instagram. My gym is a multi-level gym in central Hong Kong, and it's very aggressive looking, right? So it's like an industrial sort of gray space with mirrors along the walls, like very aggressive slogans like on the walls that are part of like the gym branding. But then the carpet is red, like blood red, and all the equipment is gray, steel, red, and black. And all like the barbells and the dumbbells, and to be honest, I don't really know the difference between barbells and dumbbells, but all the weights and stuff are that like iron black color. And I feel like they could be better looking things or just more aesthetic. I do think there's an opportunity there to make more beautiful gym equipment. I've also been thinking a lot about how things like spinning class and, you know, things like Peloton and like the mirror where you can follow along with stuff like, you know, with like a virtual trainer, how that has all evolved so much. And I sort of wonder whether that could exist for traditional weight training. Like, and bear with me, I don't even know what I'm saying, but in my mind I have this idea of what if you could like step into a suit and the suit would have all these like sensors on it. I don't know if this is possible. What if you could step in a suit and the suit could provide resistance, and then you could have like your trainer like being your headphones or like on your phone. I don't even know if this technology exists, but could your trainer train you remotely, and could you do resistance-based training without being in a gym environment with all the weights? I think one of the hardest things about this whole lockdown has been feeling like, for me personally, that a lot of the progress I've made in gaining strength and building muscle, I'm nervous that like that's gone away, because all I'm doing really right now is just trying to keep up with my daily steps and stuff like that, but I'm not doing resistance training because I don't have access to weights. Could there in the near future be like a suit you put on that gives you that resistance? Speaking of a more aesthetically pleasing gym experience, I also wonder if in the near future we could have like an AR experience where, or a VR experience where when you go to a gym, you could put on like a pair of glasses and choose what you want your gym to look like. And now this could be anything from changing the color palette to changing the decor, or it could even be like changing like what it, like the, you know, fictional people who are walking around in your gym to like whatever inspires you. Like some people get really motivated being around people who are like ultra fit and like really toned, and then I guess, I don't know if some people get really motivated like if they're in a gym full of like supermodels. I'm not sure I would be, but I wonder if there could be an opportunity to create an AR or VR experience just by putting on a pair of glasses at existing gyms. So my last gym related idea, totally random idea, is what if there was like a video game or an app that before people go to the gym for the first time, I feel like before I formally started training with my personal trainer, and I've been training with him for about a year now, before I did that, I had like random experiences, like, you know, training sessions here and there, or like, you know, when you join a gym, they'll be like, let me walk you through the equipment. But you don't really remember, you don't like really remember how to do everything they've told you to do in like one session. But what if there was like a video game where, in addition to like winning points or gamifying going to the gym, that people could play it and like learn how to use the equipment before going to a gym and actually using the equipment. I feel like that would make people feel so much more confident about going to a gym for the first time, or understanding what to do when you look at a piece of machinery. Because honestly, sometimes, especially with the weights and the resistance training, like you can like stand there and like look at like a whole rig with like straps and belts and like bars and like have no idea what to do. It would be so cool to like walk into a gym with like a little bit more confidence and knowledge about how to use the equipment. Those are all my fitness related ideas. My next category of random business and product ideas involved padded clothing. Now I was looking through like my notes. This is how I like keep my ideas. I keep them in the notes app on my phone, and I have ideas going back like 10 years. So I was like scrolling through all these ideas, and I was like, there was just one note that just said memory foam socks. Now I think memory foam socks actually do exist, and if they don't exist, they probably could exist or should exist. They will probably just be slippers, or like very, very thin slippers. But why don't memory foam clothes exist? Then you could nap anywhere, or like a hoodie with like a memory foam thing in the back. You just like lie down and like nap anywhere. And for a long time, especially like my niece and my nephew are so cute and they're very, very little, but when they were learning to walk, I always felt so bad when they would like fall down. They're fine because they're kids, and kids are just like used to falling down when they're learning how to walk. But I was saying to my brother, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if there was like kids bubble wrap clothing where like the pants would be like not padded, because it's quite heavy for like a little kid to be walking around in padded clothes. They're already wearing a diaper. But what if they had like air pockets that could be inflated and weren't burstable? They would fall and they would not hurt themselves. Now here's a sort of serious-ish idea that I think could easily be done, and I actually don't know if it's already been done in a formalized way, but looking at things like Skillshare and Masterclass and thinking about real issues that are affecting secondary education in this country, specifically, and this is so specific, but I went to a high school in New York City where the students are admitted based on how they score on one test, and everyone in New York City who is, you know, graduating from middle school or junior high school is eligible to sit for the test. So thousands and thousands and thousands of students take it every year, but you get to go to the high school depending on how you score on that test. There's so much discussion about fairness and unfairness and like test prep and all of this stuff, how that plays out in my alma mater's admissions policies. And then obviously when you get to high school, prepping for the SATs and ACTs and any college admission test, that is all fraught with so many social questions and so many educational questions, socioeconomic considerations, things like that. There's no perfect fix for any of this, but something I was thinking about is why, or is there a free test prep program on either YouTube or on something like Skillshare, or, I mean, it's not really a masterclass thing, but wouldn't it be great if there was a serious, free, like ad revenue driven test prep program targeted at, you know, 7th and 8th graders for high school admissions, and then like 10th and 11th graders for college admission tests. I feel like that's like a real opportunity, and especially now because you can upload such long videos to YouTube, you could actually even do like proctoring of like, you know, test exams or like whatever. It's not like, you know, it's not the right word, test exams, but of practice exams on like Saturday mornings live through YouTube, and you could schedule them. I just think there's a real opportunity there to leverage this platform for free educational benefits and training and test prep for people who can't afford to go to like super fancy test prep schools. Now I have 3 totally random ideas. I have like a list in front of me. This is my laptop, which I've covered in stickers. I think people are surprised all the time that I use a PC and not a Mac at home. I do have a MacBook Air that I really love because it's a really old MacBook Air that still has like the chiclet keyboard that I really, really like. I wasn't crazy about the butterfly keyboard. I actually have one of those at work, and like already like half the keys are broken and I had to buy a Bluetooth keyboard. So this is the ThinkPad, the X1. It's not the X1 actually. It is the X1. So this is the ThinkPad X1, and I bought this last year when it came out, and I love, love, love the keyboard. It is such a pleasure to type on, and because I'm a writer and that's all I do is type, that's why I use a PC. Anyway, my next 3 ideas are totally random product ideas that I think they should just exist. One is a gimbal table, and I don't know if that actually is helpful for anything, but you know how tables are like tippy at restaurants, or like because of like uneven floors they can like wobble and stuff. I wonder if there's a way to make a gimbal, which is a gimbal is like the camera stabilizer for when you're shooting and you're like going places, or you're shooting and you're moving around. It makes everything really smooth. I wonder if there's a way to build a gimbal into a table. My next totally random idea is temporary tattooed abs. Now, this idea comes from obviously temporary tattoos. I would not get temporary tattoo abs, but I do feel like there is a market for this. Many, many years ago, more than 10 years ago, I actually, for a story for when I worked at the New York Post as like a cub reporter, I went to this spray tan artist in Soho in New York. And I actually don't know if she still works there, but she was phenomenal. And she was actually also the spray tan artist for a lot of Broadway actors. For right before they would go on stage, if they had any scenes where they had to show any skin, she would be able to contour that part of their body so it would look fantastic when it showed. And she did give me like fake abs at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I've never, not even now, like not even like 60 pounds lighter than I was last year, I've never, and I still don't have those lines on like the sides of mine. I'm like pointing here, but you know, on like the sides of your stomach, I've never had those lines, but she gave them to me, and they were like, it was great. It was temporary and it was great. And yeah, why can't that be a temporary tattoo? I think that should exist. And one more beauty related random idea. I read somewhere years ago that the average American woman consumes 6.5 pounds of lip product, because you put it on your lips and then you eat it, because you eat it with your food, or like you lick your lips or whatever. But that apparently that's the stat for the average American woman. Is there a way to get some benefit out of that? Should those like vitamin infused lip balms and lipsticks be digestible? So as you have a vitamin E lipstick or a lip balm, is there a way to make that beneficial when you eat it? I don't know. Okay, I have 4 more totally random product ideas in this video, and they are all related to food. I don't even know if I need to explain them, but I'm just gonna say them. They're a little bit weird, but I do think there could be a weird market for them, and definitely they could be pretty Instagrammable. Number 1, Boba Champagne, or any sparkling, clear, beautiful, kind of like luxurious drink with boba. You could even put like strawberry boba in champagne if you had like a very natural strawberry flavor, because you know strawberries and champagne really go together. I have always been obsessed with the idea of taking sandwiches and making them dinner sandwiches. I don't know if that could be like a whole new category. Like obviously burgers are sandwiches and they can also be eaten for dinner, but could there be like a whole category of sandwiches that are like substantial dinner sandwiches? Could be a marketing thing. I have this other idea for dessert and I'm just calling it cake soup. And I know that sounds terrible, but it's not like chicken soup with cake. It's sort of like a conflagration of two ideas. Like I love breakfast cereal. I love breakfast cereal because it's like crunchy and it's sweet and it makes the milk like sweet and like it's just such a fun like textural experience, and also it's like full of sugar and so it's delicious. And when you think about a lot of Chinese desserts, specifically like living here in Hong Kong, I see this everywhere, but also in Taiwan and in mainland China, you see a lot of desserts are sweet soups, either cold or warm. They're not, I guess, I mean, they're soups, but they're sort of like chia pudding almost, but like a little soupier. So the same way you think about like overnight oats or chia pudding, or I don't know, just like somewhere in that spectrum of soupiness, I feel like there could be a cake version of that. So sometimes you know how you have a tres leches cake and it can be like a little bit liquidy, and that's part of like the amazing texture that you get. I wonder if there's a spectrum of liquidiness that could become cake soup. I feel like I would really like to eat something like cake donuts soaked in like a sweet condensed-ish milk sugary liquid and I would love to eat it with a spoon. My mouth is kind of watering thinking about it. Is that weird? Okay, and my last and very final idea is something that I've been saying to every restaurant owner I know, and they all look at me like I'm totally nuts, but I feel like there's a real market, or like there could be a real market for all-you-can-eat vegan buffets. Now hear me out. I know that it sounds really counterintuitive because I feel like there are some vegans who care very deeply about sustainability, and the idea of an all-you-can-eat spot doesn't necessarily jive with like some of the greater goals of or like the higher, you know, aspirations of political veganism. But I feel that for a lot of people who are unwilling to try veganism or unwilling to like lean into it, a lot of it is this sort of unspoken fear that they'll be hungry, or that they feel like you can't get enough nutrients or enough food or enough like protein or whatever from being a vegan. Creating this experience of an all-you-can-eat, like very innovative and abundant vegan buffet experience could solve a lot of problems and could also offer people the chance to experience veganism in abundance and try like a lot of different vegan dishes and foods that they may not associate with veganism. I think a lot of people who are unwilling to try it think that being a vegan is just eating like a dry salad, when it is so much more than that. I am not a vegan, but I am very interested in it. And I do think that if we can get more people to try it, it could be kind of cool. And this is one way that I think people might be more willing to try it, is if you make it all you can eat and create like really innovative and delicious foods in abundance. Okay, so that's my totally random rambly video for the day. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm gonna be trying some random listicle videos like this over the course of the next few days, weeks, months. I don't really know what format my videos will be taking, but the advice that I keep on seeing online is that we should all just be ourselves, because we only have one life and you should just be happy and you should just make the content you want. So yeah, here I am making the content I want and talking about a bunch of random ideas I have that I hope someone goes and makes, because it would be fun to have these things in the world. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.